Og her står de så i drømmenes teater, Brøndby-spillerne. Nogle af dem har været her før i øvrigt. De spillede her for 5 år siden i forbindelse med Peter Schmeichel-handlen, da Peter Schmeichel blev solgt. Og der tabte Brøndby med 2-0. Men ellers vil jeg nok sige, at Brøndby er ubesejret i England. De har spillet 2 gange. Har spillet uafgjort med Arsenal og har slået Liverpool inden for de seneste år. Men det er svært at tro på, men netop det med at holde på bolden, der synes jeg, det virker værdifuldt at have en John Faxe med igen.
Jeg synes helt klart, at den taktiske ændring på Brøndby-holdet gør, at der er lidt mere tillid til i hvert fald de forsvarsmæssige kvaliteter på holdet. Men det er også revancetørsten, og man bliver altså ikke ud i sådan en turbulens igen.
Manchester United, hvis man sammenligner med holdet i København, så er der 2 ændringer. De har hørt, at Ryan Giggs ligger med. Han er ude de næste 4 uger med et brud på et fodrodsben. Og det giver plads til David Beckham. Den plads havde han nu nok fået alligevel, men derved bliver Jesper Blomqvist på holdet. Beckham, der jo havde karantæne i København. Og så vender Dennis Irwin tilbage efter 4 kampe ude med en mindre skade. Han erstatter den unge Wesley Brown og træder sig ind i venstre side, hvor så Phil Neville rykker over i højre siden, og ikke Gary Neville, som der står her. Det er i hvert fald det mest sandsynlige, at det er Phil Neville, der spiller på højre bakpladsen. Brøndby har været tvunget ud i flere ændringer. Det skal vi lige se på, når vi får Brøndbys hold. Men det er et frygteligt bydende hold.
There's a scene here at Old Trafford as Manchester United prepare to take on Brøndby in this matchday 4 fixture from the Champions League. Great opportunity for Manchester United here tonight to really take control of this group as they come up against a team that they've already beaten once this season. Well, there's the Manchester United lineup for tonight's game. A couple of changes. David Beckham is back from suspension and Dennis Irwin is recovered from injury. Wesley Brown moves to the bench and Ryan Giggs, as we said earlier, is out through injury. Plenty of firepower there. Manchester United really hitting their straps at the moment, scoring lots of goals. As for Brøndby, well, they've suffered one major change, and that is that Anderson has to come into goal. It's only his 3rd match in Europe because Krogh is out through injury. They do welcome back, though, the number 7, John Jensen Fax, the captain and a player with a lot of experience. They certainly missed him on match day 3. He was out through suspension. So a big night then for Amika Anderson, just 27 years old. He joined the club, in fact, at the age of 7 years old. Our referee today, Luboš Mikal from Slovakia, where he is a teacher, and Peter Schmeichel playing his 50th European match today, and against the team where he actually started his career. Capacity crowd here at Old Trafford. They are expecting a bit of a goal bonanza. Manchester United, of course, scored 10 here in the early days of this competition when they beat Anderlecht 10-0. But it's Brøndby who get us underway. They're attacking the goal to our left in the first half, the Stretford end. Ferguson has been warning Manchester United all this week not to underestimate Brøndby. They did beat them 6-0 in a pre-season game, 6-2 of course on match day 3. And Alex Ferguson has been around long enough to know that they were all in the past, and it's what happens tonight that really counts. Here's David Beckham. Always awkward though, 4 players when they've dominated the team so much to really sort of come out on a high, isn't it?
Yes, the expectations, Mike, is what does it. Everybody expects United to whitewash this team, and it possibly won't be that easy because Brøndby hopefully have learnt their lessons from match day 3 and will make some adjustments. There was much made in the press of the fact that Brøndby at home played a 4-4-2, Mike, and they felt that was leaving themselves too open to the threats from United. Tonight they're going with 1 forward up front, but players will tell you systems don't win or lose matches, it's players, so Brøndby need to improve their performance.
And they have got a good record, as I alluded to earlier, here in England. They drew a couple of years ago against Arsenal 2-2 in the Cup Winners' Cup, and Arsenal went on that season to make it through to the final. And the following year in the UEFA Cup, they actually came to England and beat Liverpool 1-0 at Anfield. So they've never beaten an English team at home, but they've never been beaten on English soil. And they'll be looking at trying to keep that record intact. Andy Cole. Blomqvist. Player who gets an extended run now in the first team because of the injury to Ryan Giggs. Here come Brøndby.
And this is the area, Mike, that Brøndby suffered badly on their home pitch against United. The midfield, they just completely couldn't get a hold of the ball. United dominated them, and Brøndby in the end gave Manchester United too much space in the midfield to create.
Gary Neville cutting that one out. Scholes. Manchester United very patient at the beginning. That's Philip Neville. Surface a little bit slippery tonight. The players, a couple of them already starting to slip and slide. Andy Cole caught offside. Andy Cole, a much maligned figure, but he's been doing well in recent games. 4 goals in the Premier League this season. Forward that time by Coldin. Throw on the far side for Brøndby. It was only a away game in this competition, finishing a defeat at the Nou Camp against Barcelona. And of course, they caused a major surprise on match day 1 when they came back with 2 goals in the last 3 minutes to beat Bayern Munich. And that really did turn this group on its head, really, didn't it?
It certainly did, because Brøndby were thought to be the weaker of the teams. They caused a surprise and then made everybody pay attention to them, really. And since then, the results haven't gone for them, but they're a difficult outfit to beat when they can get right in midfield and get tight at the back. And the early signs are they're going to play it tight, Mike, and look for the counter-attack and make Manchester United find a way to create and beat them.
Now, Gary Neville. Dennis Irwin caught on the far side. Dennis Irwin, who's missed a number of matches this season because of injury, but what a great buy he was for Alex Ferguson when he moved from Oldham back in 1990. 33 last Thursday. Still going strong and still very much in the plans of Mick McCarthy as well, of the Republic of Ireland side, who are looking to qualify for Euro 2000. Blomqvist. Scholes. Nice layout from Dwight York. Player coming through there was Philip Neville.
And that's very important, what Dwight York did just there, Mike. He pulled off, found the space and tried to initiate the play there, started a link-up play, really. And that's what's going to draw Brøndby's defence out, by the forwards checking back and laying it off to oncoming midfield.
Good play forward there by Irwin, but just bouncing away from Paul Scholes. Skånval, the 53-year-old coach of Brøndby. Coach of the Year in Denmark back in 1993. He realises the task. He actually came to England at the weekend and watched Manchester United demolish Everton at Goodison Park, winning 4-1. That would have most probably caused a few more sleepless nights. Right, York being held. As he was trying to pick out Andy Cole that time. Those two have worked out a very good understanding.
Brilliant. You know, Andy Cole had to take the back seat when Dwight York arrived. Cole found himself on the bench. And I think that done him some good, Mike, just to see what York gets up to on the pitch. And now they've formed a great partnership because they've got a good understanding the way each other is, and they're scoring goals more.
Scores! Just the start that Manchester United needed, and David Beckham, back from suspension, scores the opening goal. Anderson there, beaten at the near post. But one of Beckham's trademark free kicks.
With regularity, Mike, it's no coincidence that from this range, Beckham just lines it up, puts pace, swerve, the ball dips at the end. This is fully 30 yards out when he curls it over the wall, but that's the ability this fellow possesses from the dead ball. That's just the start that United wanted. Unfortunately for Brøndby, that's just the start they didn't want.
David Beckham's second goal in the Champions League this season. It's given Manchester United a lead after 7 minutes. And that means now that Brøndby just might have to change their plans for this game, because it did seem that they were just going to try to block up the midfield and try to catch United on the break, but now they've got to readjust. Epstam plays it square. Gary Neville forming the central defensive partnership alongside Epstam, the continuing absence of Ronnie Johnson. Ryan Giggs that is out through injury. Ronnie Johnson also has struggled this season. Edinburgh has had a few knocks. He's on the bench tonight. But they've got depth all around the team, and of course this season has seen the emergence of Wesley Brown, who played in Copenhagen but tonight starts on the bench. He's having an outstanding season.
And it's quite true, Mike, that goals change games, and Brøndby came in with a tactic, and now that's got to be thrown out the window, because 7 minutes in they go down when they look comfortable in truth defending against United.
Here's Dorgar, plays it wide. He's in looking for the return, but Gary Neville was there. Dorgar again. Now the ball played wide, put across. And that was Roy Keane taking a little bit too much time. This is danger for United. And in the end, Epstam is able to clear, and Peter Schmeichel there, furious with his captain.
Well, Alex Ferguson, the Manchester United manager, warned his players about mistakes. He emphasised how costly mistakes can be on this level, and there was the captain there, Mike, uncharacteristically, really. Roy Keane dilly-dallying on the ball in the box and almost paid for it.
Fiora is the player who's gone across to take the corner. Referee just spotted a little bit of pushing and shoving, having a quiet word with the players. This corner comes in, it's touched on. It was Rune trying to lob it back in. Jesper Blomqvist. Throw goes to Brøndby. Blomqvist. Jensen. Jensen, of course, who played at Arsenal, was in their squad, in fact, that won the European Cup Winners' Cup in Copenhagen. He didn't play in the final, he was injured. As Manchester United go searching for a second goal, and nearly given an own goal, in fact. The woodwork there saving Brøndby. They had trouble dealing with that high ball into the penalty area. And a real let-off that time for the team from Denmark.
Like, they're having trouble dealing with Manchester United's speed. United picked the ball up in their own half, and the speed of their break was swift. And when that ball came in the box, the defence was retreating in a hurry, and that's what almost resulted in it being put in the back of their own net.
Here's Blomqvist. Causing a few problems down that left-hand touchline. Now to White York. Blomqvist again. Scholes. Playing that one through, but a misdirected pass. Epstam. Just one player playing forward for Brøndby. This is their usual team tactic. Kenneth Rasmussen is the lone striker out there. When they do break, they try to get a lot of support forward.
But they need, sorry Mike, they need to keep hold of the ball. And that's what they're not doing right now. They're getting numbers forward, and then it leaves them open, but they give away possession.
Yes, Badger there, and that was rather pass that was never really on from one side of the field to the other. A lot of people who analyse Manchester United look at them and say, well, they do the simple things, they do them well. David Beckham, one player that can hit passes from one side of the field to the other, as we saw then. Now Scholes, nice 1-2 as he goes into the penalty area, and the challenge coming in. Manchester United get a corner.
Well, this is the speed of break I'm talking about. York feeds Keane, and as Roy Keane cuts back inside and puts in an intelligent cross. Look at the defender retreating in a haste, and all he can do is get his head to it, and the post is his best friend in that occasion.
Here comes the corner from Beckham to the near post, away by Jensen. David Beckham again. The best of crosses that time from Beckham. As Brøndby now looks to break quickly. Jensen. And Scholes just getting the foot in. And Andy Cole gets his second goal in the UEFA Champions League. Well, a delightful move.
Absolutely delightful. Manchester United in this form are unstoppable. The 1-2 between the strike force of Cole and York. And then here's a player in form, Mike, Andy Cole. It's a difficult angle. He finds a way through, and look at that for composure and confidence. And that is just brilliant. Sit back, admire it.
So Andy Cole making it 2-0 now for Manchester United. And the faithful here at Old Trafford in fine voice. Well, they came here looking for goals, and Manchester United at the moment are obliging. Well, put a lot down to Dwight York, his understanding there with Cole, and Ferguson would be absolutely delighted with the way his team are playing.
Well, by his expression, you wouldn't think so, but inside he must be glowing. You know, and it's one of those situations where, as a neutral, you have to sit back and just say that was world class. The build-up was intelligent, the positions the players took up, and then most importantly, Mike, to make it happen, the running off the ball and the finish, you just applaud.
It's a great start this for Manchester United, who went into the UEFA record books after that victory in Copenhagen. First time a team in the Champions League had scored 6 goals away from home. As this one comes across, and United strong in the centre of that defence, away there by Blomqvist, who had dropped back. Referee comes up with a free kick. Haven't had too many of those so far. Philip Neville. Now Beckham. Philip Neville. Still Neville, nice 1-2. Here goes Neville. And it's now 3-0. Well, Philip Neville doesn't score many goals, but he started that move deep inside his own half and just kept running.
My word, you just have to once again applaud. Look at the understanding. Dwight York, the creator again. Here's a centre-back coming forward, Philip Neville. Look at the imagination, Mike. The 1-2, he finds the gap, and a bit of a deflection on the end of it, but it's a well-worked goal. That is poetry there. How to slice a defence is shown right there, and Philip Neville, as you say, who doesn't score many, will look back on this one and smile.
Well, he's only ever scored once for Manchester United in the Premier League, and now he's scored in the Champions League. That goal coming in the 16th minute, and Manchester United now 3-0 up against Brøndby from Denmark. So a great start, as Blomqvist is just being pulled back that time by Ole Bjork. And Scott Dahl, the coach of Brøndby. This would be his worst nightmare, I would think.
Well, he's paid Manchester United a lot of respect. I'm sure before the game he had given his team specific instructions, and now he's got to throw them all away. And in his mind, I think he's just going to try and limit the damage now, because 3 goals in the space of 15 minutes really will set anybody's team on the heels. And there's your captain. I don't know what he's got to say to his players to get them going, but they need to get hold of the ball a bit and keep Manchester United from producing those brilliant moments. 2 of them in the last 5 minutes we've seen.
Manchester United, this is their 5th game in a space of 15 days. But They look very sharp. Of course, the advantage that Manchester United have is they've got such a good squad, a big squad, but it's a quality squad. Just looking at their bench for tonight's game. Norwegian international Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jordi Cruyff, the Dutch international, who's starting to come back to his best form after a couple of seasons where he's been plagued by injury. Nicky Butt back from suspension. England regular, but even he can't get in the starting lineup. And in Berg, of course, a Norwegian international.
You go back to the 3 goals, Mike. One player had a hand in all 3, and that was Dwight York, including the Beckham free kick where he got brought down. And Beckham put the free kick away brilliantly, but York has been instrumental in these areas, pulling off his defenders, linking up and providing the way through.
Here's Dennis Irwin. Here's York again. Just a simple little touchback from Dwight York to David Beckham. Great vision there from Beckham as Blomqvist gets this one in. And Andy Cole there trying to tee it up for Dwight York. It was a good chest down, but didn't quite fall the way that York wanted. Blomqvist. Dwight York, and here comes Dennis Irwin. They all want to get on the act at the moment. Still Blomqvist with the cross. David Beckham looking to turn and trying the shot, and it's deflected wide. Well, I think it was a case there for Manchester United that too many cooks spoil the broth. There were just so many around their 6-yard box.
Yeah, pick your poison, wasn't it? They had people queuing up to get the vital touch, but I'm admiring the performance of Dwight York, Mike. No one thought he'd be a prolific goal scorer, and he has done that in his short time at Old Trafford, but his link-up play is exceptional.
Yep, Stam. And that wasn't too far wide from the Dutch international centre-back, who loves coming forward on these set plays, and he's so dangerous in the air.
Love to have got one tonight, wouldn't he? I don't think he's opened his account yet for United, but look at him tower over the defender there. And that's a bullet header. He just couldn't get the direction because of the challenge he was under.
Yep, Stam, £10 million. He moved from PSV Eindhoven during the summer. And this man cost them even more, Dwight York. It was £12 million. But they're looking good value for money, both of them at this stage. Now Cole. And comfortable touch this time for Anderson, the goalkeeper. The player who scored that goal against Bayern Munich, that was one of the major upsets on match day 1. Hasn't had too much of an influence on this game so far. There's Baja. Getting up there with Rohn. Now a turn this time. Dolgar. Good switch in play. The space on that far side. Cross whipped in behind the defenders, and Stam not taking any risk. Orca won that because it was just behind the defenders and just perhaps a bit too far out for the goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel.
Yes, look at Stam. He's looking for his marker to begin with, and then he's got to deal with the ball, as you say, which faces him in front of his own goal, and we see those oftentimes end up in the back of the net. So good attack from Brøndby down the right side.
Made that time by Dwight York, who was back defending. Free playing the advantage, Bjork. That was Eva Sand who was trying to play that one across. Sand, of course, who came on and had a sensational World Cup in France. Used as a substitute for Denmark. Now this one whips across, and that was an awkward one, and Peter Schmeichel made it look very, very easy. Now Keane. Blomqvist. Dennis Irwin. Blomqvist playing it through. Andy Cole. Opening it up well and getting away there from Rasmussen.
And that is the key. United have got the ball to their forwards, who've held it up well and allowed the midfield to come through and link up with them, and that's how they pried open Brøndby's defence.
Beckham, Cole and Phil Neville, the goal scorers. As we come up to 22 minutes played, and Manchester United leading here by 3-0. And they call this stadium the Theatre of Dreams, so it's certainly not to be a nightmare for Brøndby even at this early stage, as Badger tries the shot, which finishes off well off target.
Well, similar set of circumstances to the first game, Mike. United ran out to a fast 3-0 lead, and then Brøndby hit back. This time the shot was skewed wide, but there was an opening on the right side, and it's happening because Blomqvist defensively is coming into the centre of the midfield and allowing space on that right-hand side, and Irwin can't get there quick enough.
Just past the halfway point of this first half. Stan trying to play it down the centre forward channel, but that was easily cut out. Neville plays it back. Here's his older brother, Harry Neville. Now Roy Keane. It's been a good recovery from that injury, Roy Keane. Certainly United missed him when he wasn't there. He's such an inspirational figure for them on the field. Dwight York plays it wide. Now the cross coming in towards the far post. A bit too high for Andy Cole. Blomqvist. Oh, Dennis Irwin on the overlap. The header. Brilliant save to deny Andy Cole a second goal. Anderson there reacted well. Great overlap this though from Dennis Irwin.
It's all happening, isn't it? I mean, everybody's getting involved, and a good save by the goalkeeper, but I have to take your point you made earlier. It's all simple football. There's nothing difficult being done about United players right now.
Beckham then with the corner. And the ball headed wide there by Dwight York. This week on Dutch football, it's NAC Breda up against the league leaders Feyenoord. You'll be able to see that on Monday. Check your local listings for times. That's Dutch football, NAC Breda against Feyenoord Monday.
Yes, it's often said that football is a simple game, Mike, and the way United have applied themselves so far, they're demonstrating that. Nothing complicated about what they're doing. It's just ball control, passing, and a lot of movement. It's done at speed, which is why Brøndby's having trouble containing them.
Yes, a lot of coaches do make the game perhaps a little bit more complicated than it should be, but certainly Manchester United showing the point, just accurate passing to a teammate, and good running off the ball and taking up intelligent positions. As you say, it's not rocket science, is it?
It does help to have a few players, though.
There is an old saying that football is a very simple game, and it's only coaches and players that make it complicated. Good example of that here tonight.
But don't be fooled, Mike. The work that Manchester United have put in has been of the top order. The players have been working hard, trying to get ball back as soon as they lose it, and that's helped them also.
As they work hard, they find spaces, which makes it easier, of course, for teammates. Here's Keane just picking up the loose ball in midfield. Simple one-touch play. Now Manchester United with the chance to build up from deep. Beckham. Oh, that's a glorious ball from Beckham. Blomqvist's first touch let him down. He had to check and go back. Now Dennis Irwin, who loves coming forward down that left-hand touchline. Good overlapping fullback. Now Yapstam. Dwight York. Neville gets the return from Beckham. In fact, got an awkward bounce just as he reached the ball. But a tight situation there for Manchester United. They got themselves out of it nicely.
And they found a key in Dwight York. The missing link, really, between the defence.
This is Badger. Dorgar playing that one square. One was the player who came forward, and then Blomqvist working hard on that left-hand side, and this is a run that will remind the supporters here of Ryan Giggs. A great run this from Blomqvist. Beckham had taken up a good position, was completely unmarked, and so's Dwight York, and that's 4. Well, Dwight York will get the accolades. He'll be credited with the goal. It was a nice cross from David Beckham, but what a run initially from Blomqvist, who picked that up inside his own penalty area.
Well, is Giggs playing? This is what reminiscent Ryan Giggs, and United missed Giggs last year when he got injured. This fella was bought to not replace Giggs, but provide cover possibly, and another option. And that's a great run. He provides Beckham with the pass, and there you go, here's David Beckham scores also, providing York with a pinpoint cross. And this fella, Dwight York, has proved prolific. But the defence is broken down, really, by Blomqvist's run. There's plenty of space for Beckham, plenty of time. And York would like to head him from 6 yards each week. But he scored his goals, Dwight York, and he caps off another wonderful move by United.
You saw there his 3rd goal in the Champions League, coming in the 28th minute. Manchester United 4, Brøndby 0. We're still inside the first half. But whereas Brøndby's build-up has been slow and predictable, Manchester United then so quick on the break, and Brøndby were just pulled to pieces. They couldn't get back, they couldn't get organised.
Well, Blomqvist's run, Mike, took 4 players out the game. He burst past 4 players. That left him short at the back. When Beckham picked it up, he had all the time in the world to get his head up, and with his ability to strike a ball, putting the ball on Dwight York's head was wasn't a task for him. Look at this fella, the coach here. I can only imagine what he's thinking. He's just hoping for half-time and maybe the full-time shortly after it.
Well, he is a big fan of Manchester United. He admires their play, and I'm sure that he would have admired what he's watching out there, although it's his team that are on the receiving end. It was stated, in fact, before the game as saying that they went back to Denmark with only a 2-0 or 3-0 loss, they would most probably go back as heroes.
Well, the reason that I think he's alluding to that is ever since United got beat 3-0 by Arsenal in late September, they have really turned on the style in their run of 60 feet. They haven't lost in 6 games, but they've turned on the style. It's the way they've been beating teams. Some 4-1, some 5-2, some 6-2s, and that's what's put the fear of God into people.
Now Andy Cole coming wide to find some space. Closed down by 2 defenders, still gets his cross in. Brøndby get it clear that time, only as far as Jaap Stam, who immediately picks out Dwight York. Now Keane. A good idea as he tried to pick out his fellow Republic of Ireland teammate. Manchester United making a change. And it's going to be Wesley Brown who is going to come on. This exceptional youngster. And he's made his debut last season for Manchester United in the Premier League. As Beckham tries a shot. Wasn't too far wide in the end. Well, it's Philip Neville who is going to go off. And Philip Neville, who got the 3rd goal.
That's what it's been in the first half. Neat football, good interplay, good link-up play. And Philip Neville will treasure that goal for a long time because he doesn't get many. I think this is just for pure experience. You can see Philip Neville may have picked up a bang. That's why he's got the ice pack there. But giving Wesley Brown experience on the European level is invaluable.
Yes, and he did play in the game in Copenhagen. Philip Neville getting a great ovation from the Old Trafford crowd. Well, he will remember this European night for a long, long time, as this is the opportunity at the other end for Brøndby, and Peter Schmeichel having to come up with the save. It was Emma Sand who had the shot. And Peter Schmeichel spreading himself well. Well, there's just a danger signal for Manchester United. Their concentration just lapsed momentarily.
Yes, and right through the heart of the defence, really. Give Jaap Stam credit for that lunging tackle to maybe put Ebbe Sand off, but possibly a bit natural that you've played so well throughout the first half. You're going to have a few moments where your concentration is not the highest. Alec Ferguson won't like it, but United have had a warning sign, as you say. They've got to keep the concentration throughout because mistakes can be costly.
Hassan, who was the top scorer for Brøndby last season with 28 goals. You would have expected perhaps he would have done better there. But Peter Schmeichel, such an imposing figure. Wesley Brown will take the throw. It's a straight swap. He's come on and immediately just gone into the position that's been vacated by Phil Neville. Dwight York, rather fortunate to get the first chance there. The ball just ran away from him. Wesley Brown, only 19. He was actually born here in Manchester. It's only his second game in European competition.
People talk about the amount of money United have spent this year, but they never seem to remember the amount of money they've saved by developing their own players, Mike. The homegrown players, and there's lots of them throughout this squad.
Well, there's Neville, there's Beckham, Phil Neville, of course, before he went off, but he's replaced by another youngster, Wesley Brown, Paul Scholes. All players that have come through the new system at Manchester United. Here's John Jensen. Ball laid back, and the shot coming in from Kim Dorgar. He scored once in the Champions League and once in qualifying, but not with shooting like this.
Oh, he found a bit of space, and it's worth a dig when your team's 4-1 down. You've got to do something to try and get them going. The shot wasn't hit true, wasn't hit straight to trouble Schmeichel, but a couple of good moments for Brøndby, and they need a few more, really, just to salvage something. Obviously, you don't see them getting back to 4-4, but stranger things have happened, and there's the captain leading the charge.
There's John Jensen, who started his career at Brøndby and then had a spell at Hamburg in Germany before joining Arsenal, where his career really was affected, lots of injuries. Former Danish Footballer of the Year, he won that honour back in 1987. Gary Neville. Now Stam.
It's just full control, really, isn't it? When United have got the ball, they look so composed. The movement is swift, it is intelligent, and they just look in control of themselves. Good job by the referee to play the advantage there.
Yes, he's been pretty invisible tonight, the referee. He had too much to do in this game, although the players, one must say, have really played the game right down to the letter of the law. There's Dorgar. For our audience in Latin America, on Sunday nights, Catch Goal ESPN Weekend, the show that brings you highlights from all around the world, Spain, Italy, and of course the rest of Europe, all the latest scores, highlights and goals. Check your local listings 4 times. It's Wes Brown on the ball now for Manchester United, playing it back. Gary Neville. Stam trying to play that one through. This block, but he tidied it up and played it back for Gary Neville. Now Dennis Irwin. Lundqvist there moving intelligently infield and leaving the channel for Dennis Irwin. Keane. Scholes. They're giving the ball away, and that's the last person you want to give the ball away to on the edge of the penalty area, David Beckham. That wasn't too far wide.
Yeah, Beckham pounced on it quickly, didn't he? Some unconvincing defending, really, and that just signals a lack of confidence throughout the team. Beckham had to take it quick. It was a snapshot, and it curled harmlessly wide, but I think United has psychologically gotten to Brøndby, and their confidence is just shot right now.
Good throw from Peter Schmeichel. Manchester United have had some magical nights in their European campaign. In fact, tonight is their 75th match in the Champions Cup, as Roy Keane is penalised.
John Jensen was bursting through there, and you could see the age is taking the toll. He had a lack of pace there and really was trying to check up, and Keane caught him as he checked back. But he had no legs really to cash in on that opportunity.
An untidy challenge that from Paul Scholes. That results in a free kick now for Brøndby. Skabalis. Andres Skabalis, the number 18 for Brøndby, is a Lithuanian international. She joined in 1995.
Four nothing down, Mike. I think Brøndby were concerned about just keeping the score down. They've definitely not exerted themselves. They're not coming out in any way to try and get a goal back. They just wanted to limit the damage.
Well, it was on the 26th of September 1956 that Manchester United scored 10 goals against Anderlecht. That was in a preliminary round match of the Champions Cup. That game, in fact, was played at Main Road because Old Trafford here didn't have floodlights at the time. Interesting thing, of course, people from Manchester will tell you there is only one team in Manchester, and that's Manchester City, because Manchester United's ground is in the suburb of Old Trafford, while Manchester City's Main Road is actually in the city of Manchester. Wesley Brown knows this area so well, born and bred, not too far from Old Trafford.
Once again, it's good to see what Ferguson does with his youngsters. He brings them in, he doesn't rush them, put all the pressure on them, just bloods them slowly, gives them a taste of first team football and rests them when appropriate. Now with his team 3-0 up, he feels appropriate that Brown comes in, gives him another taste of a big European night.
We're inside the final 5 minutes of this first half, alongside Eddie Might and I'm Mike Hill. And Manchester United leading by 4-0. And looking to add to that tally. Blomqvist has looked very impressive in this first half. It's caused problems for Brøndby down that left-hand side. They might have felt a bit of relief when Ryan Giggs was ruled out because of a foot injury. But certainly there's been very little relief for them with Blomqvist.
Well, it gives them what, when Giggs is out, what they're missing. Balance on that left side. And with Blomqvist there, he's providing everything that Giggs can.
Scholes touching that one on. And the return ball there, not quite enough weight on it from Dwight York. Here go Brøndby now over the halfway line. They've got players forward this time. This is Badger. Here again, and a good challenge coming in from Wes Brown. Had to be so sure there. That challenge was inside the penalty area. And Beckham with the glorious ball picking out Cole, who in turn looks to nod it into the path of Dwight York.
We just saw the two examples there. Brøndby's counter-attack was somewhat slower. United getting the ball, picking it up and going right at Brøndby with speed. And that's been the telling difference in this first half.
Dwight York lays it back. Irwin. Misdirected pass that time from Dennis Irwin. Jensen. It's Bagger trying to get it forward, but good intercept from Brown. Wesley Brown there caught by a tidy challenge from Alan Roon. So it's going to be a free kick for Manchester United. Well, certainly there didn't seem any malice in that challenge. It was basically just a mistimed challenge, and I think Brown might have just had the legs of him.
The referee saw that and dealt with it correctly, but what about the skill by Brown to flick the ball over the defender's head?
Beckham will take the free kick. Yapstam has gone forward. As the ball is headed down by Dwight York. In fact, two Manchester United players there might have put each other off, and York was one of them. Did it right, though. He didn't head the ball down. That's what all the manuals tell you to do.
Look at the ball in the box. It's such a pinpoint cross. There's Wesley Brown, the youngster, and he's got to get out of the way. Dwight York's the top scorer of the team. But he does the right thing, as you say. He climbs, heads it down, and to be fair, he heads it too far down because it ends up bouncing too high over the net. But the ball in by Beckham is what he's known for. He's a great striker of the ball, and he picks out Dwight York once again in the box.
Mentioning Wesley Brown, of course, a youngster who's come through the youth ranks. He was born here in Manchester. David Beckham has done the same thing. And there must be a few clubs in London kicking themselves because he was actually born in Leytonstone. It's on the outskirts of London. Shows you the extent of Manchester United's scouting network.
And also the pulling power of Old Trafford, Mike. You know, a kid grows up these days, they want to play for Manchester United. This club has been steeped in history, and it's hard to deter a kid not from travelling from wherever he is. Look at Ryan Giggs coming over and wanting to play for United.
The ball played forward. Here goes Wesley Brown. He got caught, bounces up, kept his balance. And then in the end, it all breaks down for Manchester United. We're inside the final minute of this first half. And Brøndby looking to break. But compared with Manchester United, their attacks are rather laborious. Here's Jensen. Another good challenge from Wesley Brown.
And that's what you're talking about. That ball by Beckham changes the speed of the game. Cole couldn't latch onto it right there, but that's been the difference.
For our audience in Latin America, our live match from Spain later today is Espanyol against Real Betis. Check your local listings for times. Real Betis, who under new coach Javier Clemente got a victory last weekend and followed that up with a win in the UEFA Cup midweek. They go for 3 in a row against Espanyol at Barcelona's Olympic Stadium. You'll be able to see that one live. We're inside stoppage time, 1 minute to be added. Here's Beckham. Cole there with a cushion header. Now to Dwight York. Wonder that got a good round of applause. That was delightful stuff from Dwight York. Really seems to have blossomed since his move from Villa Park. Likes the big stage, and of course that was his reason for leaving Aston Villa. Wanted to play football at the highest level, and of course playing for Trinidad and Tobago. Perhaps his dream of ever playing in the World Cup has perhaps passed. The Champions League is the next best thing. As this shot comes in, and Alan Ruin not really troubling Peter Schmeichel with that shot as the half-time whistle goes. David Beckham set Manchester United on the way with a goal after 7 minutes. Andy Cole in the 13th. Philip Neville, who has since been substituted, scored in the 16th, and Dwight York in the 28th. So the scene here at Old Trafford at half-time. A great performance for Manchester United in the first 45 minutes. 4-0 they lead at half-time. Stay with us, we've got a lot more to come. When we continue our coverage of the UEFA Champions League, we'll be back at Old Trafford after this.
Fodboldlegender Jordi Cruyff, søn af Johan Cruyff, er kommet ind, og han har afløst supersvenskeren Jesper Blomqvist. Det synes jeg ærligt talt ikke, at Ferguson kan være bekendt. Det har været en oplevelse at se Jesper Blomqvist. Ja, det er rigtigt.
Jordi Cruyff then is on for the start of the second half, and Jesper Blomqvist, the player who cost £4.5 million from Parma, scored his first goal for Manchester United at the weekend in that 4-1 victory over Everton, is taken off. But he had an outstanding first half, and a good opportunity now for Jordi Cruyff, who's been plagued by injuries since he joined from Barcelona. It's a chance in the last 45 minutes to regain some match fitness and also to stake a claim for a regular first team spot. Gary Neville with the ball forward. Here is Jordi Cruyff. Cruyff again. Scholes. Oh, a nice dummy there from Dwight York. The ball eventually finds its way out to Beckham. Floated cross in, away by Anderson. Now John Jensen.
Looks like more of the same, Mike, from Manchester United. Some thrilling attacking play. Dwight York showing that he is in a rich vein of form right now, very sharp.
Yes, and playing with a lot of confidence as well. Eversand laying this one back. This is Dorgar. This is Bagger on the far side. And Brøndby get a corner and some ironic cheers from the Manchester United supporters.
Well, anything in the attacking third for Brøndby was a victory, really. They were pinned back in the first half and had one shot, which Schmeichel had to come up with a save with his legs, but other than that, they really didn't venture over the halfway line.
Manchester United have scored 21 goals in their last 6 matches before tonight. As this corner comes in, a flashing header. And Manchester United a little bit slack at the back that time. Ian Roy Keane coming to the rescue, and his clearance coming off the Brøndby player. Player coming through there, Ruben Bagger.
Look at the captain, Roy Keane. Realises the danger, throws himself, and just gets enough on that. In fact, he didn't touch it, but just his presence put Bagger off.
Just a little warning sign there for Manchester United.
I think Alex Ferguson will just want his players to remain professional. It's very difficult to keep pressing and live up to the first half standard, but he would want his players to maintain their professionalism throughout this game.
Yes, and also I think he would like to keep a clean sheet. Certainly Peter Schmeichel would do in his 50th European match. Of course, he has scored a goal playing in Europe, Peter Schmeichel. He scored 2 in his time at Brøndby in the Danish league. But he also scored for Manchester United in the UEFA Cup game here against Volgograd 3 seasons ago. And Manchester United went out on the away goals rule, but he came up in the last minute to score for United in a 2-2 draw, which wasn't enough to see them through. I'm sure on his 50th occasion he'd love to keep a clean sheet. Now Dwight York. Now Cole. Just trying to slide that one through. Cruyff turning into trouble. He had 4 players around him. Dorgar. Bjork. Long raking pass to the far side. This is better from Brøndby. Roy Keane, ever the competitor. Now Jordi Cruyff. Well, that was rather ambitious from David Beckham.
Dwight York thinks so, because he took up a wonderful position in the heart of the central defence, pulled away from his defender. You can't blame Beckham though. A man who can strike a ball that well would always fancy himself from long range.
Alex Ferguson there, who took over here in November of 1986. Took over from Ron Atkinson. He had some shaky times at the beginning of his spell, but stuck by his principles. Manchester United always challenging now for honours. Of course, runners-up last year in the Premier League. And like Brøndby, they had to qualify for the Champions League proper. They overcame LKS Łódź of Poland, as we see that offside. Very close, but just about right.
Close. That's all I can say. It was marginal. You have to be right in line to get that one. Gary Neville was the final guy to move up, and he appealed for it and got it.
Brøndby, who had to qualify, they overcame Kosica 2-1 on aggregate. They won 2-0 away, but lost 1-0 at home. Manchester United got through 2-0 on aggregate against LKS Łódź. They won 2-0 here and drew 0-0 in the return leg in Poland, as Dennis Irwin gets this one across, and Anderson took it well.
But it was the ball from Jaap Stam, a first-time ball, Mike, 30-yard ball to Irwin, which changed the pace of the game, upset the Brøndby defence, and that's how United played in the first half. They played with a lot of imagination, a lot of speed, and in truth, Brøndby just couldn't contain them.
Manchester United currently second in the English Premier League, 1 point behind Aston Villa. Brøndby in the third spot in Denmark, behind Aalborg and AB Copenhagen, who they actually play this coming weekend. Manchester United will be at home back here at Old Trafford on a Saturday when they take on Newcastle. Now Gary Neville. Dennis Irwin there, just getting an awkward bounce. First time touch, but Beckham there just picking up a loose ball, going past two, going past three, and the shot goes past the post.
We saw in the first half the statistics that Manchester United had dominated the possession, and this is why Beckham racing to latch on to this one then shows his quality, skipping past two players, and he's looking for that ball to bend at the end, curling it into the top corner. But he actually regained possession there, shows good balance to maintain possession there, and the ball just didn't bend for him at the end.
Nice skill there to get away from that rash challenge from Paul Scholes. Here's Bior. Bior went for the return, but the odds were always against him. Dwight York. Andy Cole again trying to combine up front. They really both complement each other's game. A lot of people felt that the arrival of Dwight York would see the demise and leaving of Old Trafford for Andy Cole. It hasn't been the case. No, they've worked well together.
Yes, quite the opposite. On paper, you think they're two are the same players, but Dwight York has a better touch, no question about that. He is a better link-up man, and it allows Cole to get in the box more and do what he does best, be a predator, and he's certainly hitting the target with more regularity now at York's arrive.
Son was the player playing that one through, and simple touch there back from Jaap Stam to Schmeichel, and Manchester United can move forward again. Hasn't quite got the passion and fire of a Premier League match. One must admire the football of Manchester United tonight. It's been a pleasure to watch. Certainly a disciplined and a very professional performance. Different type of game than the game they've faced at the weekend when they went to Goodison Park to take on Everton. But here come Brøndby. I think it's very evident that Manchester United in the second half have really taken their foot off the accelerator.
It's quite natural, really, Mike. It was a high level of play in the first half, and it's going to be difficult on any time when you're leading 4-0 to match what you did in the first half. United have just allowed Brøndby to come into it, give them a bit more possession, and it's showing.
Nielsen is forward for this corner, but that's not very well hit, and nor was that from Søren Kolding. And he acknowledges it, the Danish international. He's in France with their World Cup side. Another player who's in France was the Norwegian international, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is going to come on. And Andy Cole is the player that I think they're going to take off.
This was Dwight York's contribution to the first half. He had laid on several goals, and that time he found space. David Beckham picked him out, and it's a job done for Andy Cole. There's no need to risk him. Give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a run in the first team, a chance to get back into competitive action, get some sharpness back, because they're going to need him sometime during the season, Mike.
Certainly teams in the Premier League often lose players because of injury, and these days the way referees give out cards often with suspension. Last thing tonight, the referee from Slovakia, Mr. Luboš Mikel, has not had to produce one card, and he's had this game very much under control. Andy Cole getting a great ovation as he heads towards the dressing room area. A youngster who started at Arsenal, and how they would love to have him back these days. He gets a great ovation. £7 million when he arrived here from Newcastle.
There's always a fellow who's going to get goals, Andy Cole. The knock on him was the amount he misses in terms of getting the goals. But certainly this season, he's been a great marksman, Mike. He's really improved his strike rate, and the fans have been appreciative. And I think Cole's enjoying playing with York more than anything.
Come up to 56 minutes of this match. Manchester United leading by 4 goals to 0 alongside Eddie Myton. I'm Mike Hill. Here go Brøndby. As this one comes across, and Peter Michael there would not take any risk. Just taps it over the crossbar. Jensen there having a bit of a exchange of views with some of the Manchester United fans, all in good humour. This was a delicate little chip.
He saw Schmeichel advancing for the cross, and give the wily veteran credit, he tried to chip him. So he acknowledged the fact that he didn't hit the target, but the fans knew what he was trying to do, and they know the football at Old Trafford.
Saying earlier that this is Manchester United, or before today, Manchester United have played 5 games in 15 days. Well, they're in action again on Saturday in the Premier League, and then next week League Cup match here against Nottingham Forest. So there's really no stop, no let up. As Jordi Cruyff was the player who came back to stop that move. Schmeichel.
Possibly the players have that in the back of their mind, Mike. They're conserving a bit of energy, trying to let the ball do the work, but not overextending themselves.
Solskjaer back into the path of Dwight York. Now Dennis Irwin, always available on this left-hand touchline. Irwin for Manchester United attack. Now Solskjaer being forced wide. Held the ball up long enough and trying to pick out Dennis Irwin, but Bjorn got there first. And Brøndby playing themselves out of an awkward situation. Jensen. Gary Neville came off second best after that challenge. Free kick's been quickly taken. Dorgar made the run forward, but the ball wasn't forthcoming. In the end, they all just play through the centre forward channel, but there's not too much conviction about this Brøndby side. They're playing some very neat football, but you just get the feeling looking at them, they realise they can't win this game.
I think that's an accurate summation there. The spirits are down for Brøndby. You're 4-0 down at Old Trafford in front of 53,000. It's daunting.
There's Jordi Cruyff sliding that one across. And that could have been goal number 5. Rasmussen in the end had to clear that one away.
Well, Cruyff's looking for someone to come across that near post, just get in front of the goalkeeper to tap that one in. And Dwight York, unfortunately, had pulled away, looking for the ball floated to the far post. It's good to see Cruyff back into the action. He's just been so maligned by injuries.
So a youngster, though, at 24 years old. As this one comes into the near post, away there by Jensen. Now Beckham with another opportunity to cross. Taking on the chest there of Scholes. Appeals for handball, nothing given. That was nice play there by Dorgar. The big man, Yapstam, is very, very quick, certainly over those first 5 yards.
His pace is undoubted, and that's one of his strengths. I think he had a torrid time in the World Cup. I think he was criticised unfairly, Mike. At times, I think they left him out to dry, and, you know, he got exposed at times, but he has got the pace, he has got the strength, and he's settling in nicely in this Old Trafford lineup. I think the one weakness in my mind for United possibly is down the heart of that defence, but they're getting it right, it seems.
Yes, they did look a bit susceptible at the weekend against Everton at Goodison Park. And Ferguson did score once, and he could have actually got another hat-trick as well. Manchester United, if they've got a problem, it is in the centre of that defence. And there's Dwight York is penalised for using his arm. referee's assistant on that far side as the rain comes down here in Manchester. Now that's not an unusual occurrence. And it's going to be a free kick. Italia returns to ESPN with the live match on Tuesday between Lecce and Fiorentina. Check your local listings for times. The Coppa Italia now into its third round, and Lecce taking on Fiorentina. And that game you can see live here on ESPN as we bring you the best of football from all around the world. And we're bringing you an outstanding game at the moment from Old Trafford, where Manchester United playing with style, and Brøndby of Denmark, the Danish champion. Goals, and that's goal number 5. Well, for Paul Scholes, his third goal in the Champions League.
Sometimes Paul Scholes gets lost in the shuffle with all the stars, but here's his quality. Close control, he picks the ball up, and in mind he's going for goal. Steps inside 2 players and makes the finish look easy as the goalkeeper goes the wrong way. But look at the running off the ball by York. That takes away players. Beckham makes an overlapping run to take away another few. Scholes is composed, he maintains his balance, and then tucks it in a tight angle.
Yes, he got the goalkeeper off balance because he hit it with his left foot and not his right. So for Paul Scholes, his third goal in this season's Champions League, and Manchester United now leading by 5-0.
Just when Brøndby were really having the best spell of the match, at least saving some face, Paul Scholes strikes, and the quality of the finishing, once again, has been of the highest order. The first leg of this game was characterised by some brilliant finishing, and tonight has been much of the same. Starting with a great free kick by Beckham. Andy Cole's goal was wonderful, and it's just continued, Mike.
Here's Dwight York. Scholes. Dwight York. Ball comes in, and Scholes there. Well, perhaps he was trying for his second goal. He had a teammate who was better positioned, in fact, and that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he seemed to take it away from him.
Yes, Scholes is under the ball, and if he had got the shout, possibly, if he could clear himself out the way, Solskjaer would have had a better header, but the fella's just gotten a wonderful goal moments ago, so you can't blame him for going in, attacking that ball and getting the second one. But anytime you can play in a team that creates this many chances, Mike, it's got to be enjoyable.
Well, a great atmosphere here at Old Trafford. Certainly the crowd really enjoying it. Not quite the passion or the excitement that one would perhaps expect from a Champions League game, but we are seeing tonight an excellent display of football from Manchester United. They're in total control, and we're seeing a display of total football. Go Brøndby now, and the cross from Ole Bjork. He's played 3 times for Denmark. Not the best of crosses, but Paul Scholes, this was the goal that made it 5-0. Whichever angle you look at it, it's marvellous skill from Scholes.
Well, it happens so fast in the box. Anytime you get a ball in the box, things happen very quickly, and to maintain his balance, maintain his composure, and to see the keeper going one way and slot it the other is exceptional ability. That's what we've been doing all night, Mike, admiring the quality of Manchester United's play throughout, and it must be enjoyable for these players just to play in a game like this where everything is going their way, and it's just not one player doing it, Mike. It's a complete team performance, as you said, total football.
Cruyff. This is Wes Brown. 2 substitutes combining there. Second half, Paul Scholes has been pushed a little bit further forward. Here he is on the ball. Again, doing well, keeping control, playing it across, and it was Beckham. Too close that time to Anderson.
Well done by the goalkeeper to hang on to that. We saw moments ago the rain coming down, so that's a greasy ball hit at pace at him, and he handled it cleanly.
Yes, Anderson, the goalkeeper, only his 3rd European match tonight. It's a night that he won't forget in a hurry. Football from Italy's Serie A this weekend. Our first live match will be Udinese against the league leaders and defending champions, Juventus. See that live on Sunday. Check your local listings 4 times. That's football from Italy's Serie A. Juventus just taken over the top spot. And of course, they're also in action tonight in the Champions League, taking on Athletic Bilbao at the Delphi Stadium. Now Beckham. Taking up a good position and trying to tease Skabalis, the Lithuanian international, who stuck to his task well. Wes Brown, now Beckham. Capstan, pass ball inside the fullback, Dwight York. A lovely little touch, and Wes Brown nearly got on the end of it.
It's all happening, isn't it? The right back, Wes Brown, coming forward, sensing an opportunity, but York's control, his awareness, his creativity is evident.
Ball played wide and a good run forward from Roy Keane. Left this towards the far post. The defender got there first. Rasmussen has to concede the corner. Great play there from the Manchester United captain.
Well, there you go. You were talking about Paul Scholes getting forward a lot more. Roy Keane was holding for him, and this time he senses the right time to go forward. Scholes holds for him, and there's the captain trying to get in the action. They all want goals. When you're 5-0 up, football's flowing, you want to get your name on the score sheet.
Well, Ruben Bagger is the player that is going to go off, and Tigerson is the player that's going to come on. So the first change for Brøndby. Jesper Tigerson, who scored one of the goals in the qualifying round, that victory over Kosica. So he is on. And Bagger is off as Henderson did well to take that one under pressure. Henderson, who's been a great club man for Brøndby. Not the first choice goalkeeper. That position usually goes to Morgan's Crow, but he's out through injury. And Anderson, who actually joined Brøndby at the age of 7 years old, has been with the club for 20 years. Really great servant, and it's nice to see a player who is that loyal get the opportunity on a night like this to play at Old Trafford. He might have conceded 5 goals, but he's going to remember this for a long time.
It's a good story for your grandkids, isn't it? And it's quite ironic, really. Morgan's Crow, the first choice goalkeeper, got ruled out on Tuesday with a back injury, and this fella here, Anderson, he may have a back injury after this game, picking the ball out of the net so many times.
He's been beaten 5 times. You really couldn't put any goal down as a goalkeeping error, really.
Not one. I mean, the quality of the finishing has been of the highest order. That's really been United's nemesis, really, in their Champions League, Mike. They've created chances throughout their campaigns when they've failed, but they've missed their chances. And you remember the game against Dortmund, I think, when they missed a whole host of chances and went out. Now they're finishing.
Yes, now here's Dwight York. Oh, that was a glorious ball, and Solskjaer, his first touch, the ball just run away from him, and it allowed the defender to get in. But Dwight York again, he just sees these things so quickly.
Well, you see, he pulls 3 players with him, York. That's how dangerous they consider him. Solskjaer, and that's what not playing regularly in the first team does for you. You lose your sharpness. Possibly he should have took that first time and had a go. The way they've been flying in for United, that possibly would have hit the back of the net. But York draws 3 players, finds the open man, and a good chance is wasted.
David Beckham with the cross. And Dwight York that time. He seems to have a smile on his face. He wasn't too far wide.
He could have had a hat-trick tonight, York. He gets into a good position. Look at the crowd there. He steps away from his defender into the hole there, and that ball comes at you quick, Mike, and it's greasy out there, and you can see the wry smile knowing, I think I should have put that one away.
Yes, Dwight York, who turned 27 yesterday. Trinidad and Tobago international. Great friend off the field, in fact, is the West Indian cricketer Brian Lara. who gave him some advice when he was contemplating his move to Manchester United. Of course, football getting a much higher profile in the Caribbean, thanks to the exploits of Jamaica in the World Cup. And now, of course, Dwight York, who really has flown the flag for a number of years playing at Aston Villa.
But what he's done for this team, Mike, is provided them with that wonderful link, and he's always available. His control is instant, so when they play a ball up to him, it sticks, and it allows people to join him in support, and that's allowed United to attack in waves time and time again.
That's Bjork. He's given that one away. It was good anticipation from Yapstam, but he in turn has given it away to Hassan. Jensen. Irvin's clearance there was blocked, and just turns, plays it across to Michael, the 34-year-old goalkeeper for Manchester United. Said he wants to keep playing until he's 40. So he keeps himself very fit. I think Manchester United supporters will be very happy if he does. It'll be York.
I think Brøndby have shown us that you can't come and play Manchester United by sitting back, conceding possession and hoping to hold out. You've got to actually go and attack them, and that's possibly the mistake, not the formation they've used. The mistake they've made is that they haven't attacked United with any purpose.
Well, European nights are always something special at Old Trafford. This competition, of course, will always be in Manchester United history after the disaster in 1958 at Munich. And this is their holy grail, the one competition that Manchester United always want to win. They've won it once. They've gone close the last couple of years as well. The defeat against Borussia Dortmund was a game that they should have won, and then last year, of course, against Monaco, where the game missed a host of chances. Consensus of opinion, though, is that this year they've got the right squad, and they've got enough depth to cover for injuries. As we saw in the first half, Ryan Giggs out, but they didn't lose their shape, they didn't lose their balance, and the arrival of Jesper Blomqvist, ideal replacement for Ryan Giggs, who does seem to miss a lot of games, whether it's European games or Premier League games, because of injury.
Important times too, they're missing Giggs, and his qualities are undoubtedly difficult to replace. Blomqvist, as you say, is a tremendous buy, as is Dwight York. It's been proven, and now Yapstam at the back. I think Ferguson spent a lot of money, but it's been intelligent buys. Ferguson has never been one who's renowned to rush out and spend money unduly, and he's thought about and got some good buys, Mike.
Søren Krogh is the player who has come on and has replaced Ole Bjork. Søren Krogh, just a youngster at 21 years old. So he gets his opportunity. Got some European experience at the highest level. Yapstam venturing forward that time. Oh, a lovely touch from Beckham. Scholes needed somebody wide, but Beckham had come infield and nobody had taken up that right wing channel. Dwight York, not trying to get perhaps too clever that time. Clattering challenge from Dennis Irwin. John Jensen. Manchester United 5, Brøndby 0. Alongside Eddie Might and I'm Mike Hill as we're into the final 15 minutes.
There's a discipline by United that Ferguson has installed in them. They've lost the ball, Mike, and all the players have gotten back, gotten their shape, and made it difficult for Brøndby to counter-attack them. And still late in the game, when you're 5-0 up, they're still doing it, and that's professionalism.
This is Manchester United's 75th game in the Champions Cup, and they've now scored 162 goals. They've conceded 80.
Where do Brøndby go from here? That's a big question. after that opening day shocker win really against Bayern Munich. They've still got 2 games left to go, and even though they're not completely out of it mathematically, they've got to play Bayern Munich and Barcelona again. That's no easy task.
They're off to the Olympic Stadium, Munich, on match day 5. Manchester United will be at the new camp in Barcelona. Of course, memories are there. A 3-3 draw on match day 1. Another game that was outstanding here at Old Trafford. Before Manchester United will finish up on match day 6, back here taking on Bayern Munich.
Well, you have to feel that Bayern will get 3 points against Brøndby possibly, and the swing game, the pivotal game in the group, has to be considered Barcelona versus Manchester United in Spain.
Brøndby making their 3rd and final substitution, and Bo Hansen is the player that's going to come on. And Abasand, who really hasn't had too much of an influence on this game, who had such a good World Cup for Denmark, but he's found it very hard to get involved in this game tonight. Certainly the service that is received also has left a lot to be desired, because his team have been constantly under pressure.
They haven't had the ball, and Ebisam was the lone striker playing in a team that's constantly under pressure. You're going to be invisible, and it's just a tough night for him playing against a quality defender like Jaap Stam, the team that's playing so well also.
Back that time by Gary Neville. Well, Manchester United beat them 6-0 in Copenhagen in a pre-season friendly, 6-2 on match day 3. And Manchester United here leading 5-0. You're a brave man to bet that they wouldn't add another one and make it to 3 6s in a row.
I think Brøndby would like to see the back of the Red Devils now.
Nice turn that time by Kroh. Well dealt with at the back by Manchester United. And that was rather a loose clearance. Brøndby now putting on some pressure, but not really threatening. You just don't get the feeling that there's any conviction out there. They think they can score.
And that's certainly been the tale of the day, really, hasn't it, Mike? Brøndby are out there somewhere. Whether they're going to do anything is very highly doubtful. They just don't look incisive. They're not confident. And when you're 5-0 down, your confidence is absolutely in pieces. That's obvious.
Especially when you come into a game against a team that only a couple of weeks ago beat you 6-2 at home. So there's always going to be a problem.
Well, the damage was done. You can see 3 goals in the first 15 minutes. You're going to be shell-shocked. Coming back from that is impossible.
More football from Italy's Serie A this weekend. Our second live game on Sunday from the San Siro in Milan as AC Milan entertain Inter Milan. AC Milan on the ascendancy this season, and they come up against Inter Milan in the Milan derby. Check your local listings for times of that game. They're in the Champions League. It's Brøndby. Perhaps an opportunity. That one driven across the face of goal. Just nobody there. They've still got another opportunity. Now players have come forward. And David Beckham back there for Manchester United. But his header plays Paul Scholes into trouble. And Scholes is fouled.
Well, here's a slip that allows Kolding to go in. You see Cruyff slipping there, and Søren Kolding getting around the back and flashes that one across. Only one player in the box who couldn't get his foot on it, but it's natural that there's been a letdown for United, but commend Brøndby for they have kept trying, Mike. They haven't completely given up, and that's good to see.
Well, we're inside the final 10 minutes. Some of the Manchester United supporters looking to leave and head towards the exits to try to beat the trying to get an early start on the drive home and miss the traffic jams. Skopalis on the far side.
It's an easy thing to say now, but I wish Brøndby would come out and attacked with a bit more purpose and kept United back a little more. The result may not have been any different, but they look so much better now.
Well, they are being allowed to come forward a little bit now because Manchester United certainly are more interested in just keeping their fitness for Saturday. As a slip there, and Manchester United could have been embarrassed.
Well, the fellow who scored in the first leg, Kim Degar, getting there around the back, he's all alone here. It's a tight angle trying to beat Schmeichel. I tell you what, he's not too far away from 4 yards out. You'd have hoped he put it on target, but the boss can smile about it.
I think looking at that replay, you can understand why Peter Schmeichel is such an outstanding goalkeeper. He just stood there, and I mean, he just had nowhere to shoot. Yeah, he didn't have a clear shot on goal.
A lot of goalkeepers go down too early and make the decision for the forward. Schmeichel presents a big target, and he presents a problem. You have to beat him. That time the goal was only 4 yards out. Saw, as you say, the big target, and it was enough to deter him by dragging that ball wide.
You can see there was just no gap there to get it past Peter Schmeichel. In fact, he did get it past, but the angle that Schmeichel came out and closed down on him, saw the ball go wide at the far post.
That's one thing Ferguson remarked in the first leg. Schmeichel, who just came back from injury, really committed a dreadful save to give Brøndby a goal to make it 3-1 from a free kick. But that time he showed his qualities, as you said. He just shut the goal off completely.
Manchester United supporters singing "Give us a goal." We've seen 5. Let's not get greedy. And Brøndby, well, they'd like to get a goal, and that was Ferguson, the player who came on as a substitute. Got one in qualifying against Kosica. And then trying that one from a long way up. Schmeichel, though, watches that one go wide.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? 53,000 at Old Trafford, and you get your name on the score sheet. And take that home, would you?
Pushed that time by Dwight York. The player who had his birthday yesterday, able to celebrate perhaps belatedly tonight with a goal. I'm sure there will be some celebrations. I don't think Alex Ferguson would have let them go out last night to celebrate.
Not under his orders, I'm sure. But it's a long season, and United are in great form at the moment, scoring a lot of goals, playing some very attractive football. They have to keep it going, Mike. And when the pressure starts in January, and the run into the Championship, the Champions League, that's when you've got to produce.
Yes, and that's been Manchester United's downfall in the last couple of years. They've never been at their best in March in the quarter-final stage. They've had injuries, and that's always proved to be costly, but at least this year there's plenty of depth in the squad.
Yes, the signs are certainly good for United at this point, and the indications are they have the quality to keep it going. Juventus are probably the masters of it. They usually start slow in this competition but finish strong.
I remember Brøndby have never lost to an English team here in England. They drew with Arsenal in the Cup Winners' Cup in the 1994-95 season. They beat Liverpool in the UEFA Cup in 1995-96 season. Although they've never beaten an English team at home, they haven't been beaten on English soil. Well, that's all about to change. As we come up to the final 5 minutes, Manchester United 5-0 up. Perhaps even looking for more. The best across this from Dennis Irwin, who just seemed to lose his footing. Pitch very, very wet. And Irwin there just going at speed, unable to really bring himself under control, let alone get the ball across.
Yeah, a difficult ball when you're running a slippery surface. You're running away from the ball and trying to get your leg wrapped around it to whip it in. But I'm sure the faithful are glad to see Dennis Irwin back in the lineup, Mike.
Yes, 33 last Thursday, Dennis Irwin. He's played 49 times for the Republic of Ireland and will most probably get his 50th cap. They take on Yugoslavia in their rearranged Euro 2000 match on in the middle of this month.
You must say also, I mean, the referee's had very little to do. He's kept control of the game, which has been very tame, but that's how you like to see referees, invisible.
And he's wanted it that way. I mean, he's tried to stay out of it. There's been a couple of clumsy challenges, but just no dramatics. He's not wanted to be the centre of attention, and you can't say that about a lot of referees these days, but he's been quite happy to sit in the background. The players have responded. As this ball is laid back, and Schmeichel gets down, makes it look very easy, though he would have seen that quite late.
A substitute there, Bo Hansen coming on, squeezing that ball through a crowd. Schmeichel making it look very easy.
Challenge there on Paul Scholes from Dorgar. Free kick for Manchester United. Manchester United can start planning for their trip to the Nou Camp. Know if they can go to Barcelona and get a victory, they will be so close to a spot in the quarterfinals. They've taken maximum points from their 2 games against Brøndby, and are unbeaten against Barcelona and Bayern Munich, but only managed to take a point after conceding late goals in both those matches.
Yes, and you think the prospect of Barcelona, who are one of the best in the world at attacking, and Manchester United, who are showing they're up there also. The prospect of the 2 teams locking horns is mouth-watering.
Well, certainly the matchday 1 encounter here, 3-3 draw, was a game that people who had the privilege to see will be talking about for a long, long time. That's Wes Brown there, puts Ferguson under pressure. Dorgar. Brøndby now being given the space by Manchester United, who have just funneled back. Scholes, though, wins the ball back now. Keane. And Wes Brown. He's looked so comfortable since he's come on, Wes Brown. Only 19. Great prospect. Here he comes, striding forward confidently as Manchester United get the free kick, which they take quickly. Ball pushed round the goalkeeper and then just over the crossbar from Jordi Cruyff. Well, quick thinking from Manchester United. Here's the free kick, and Jordi Cruyff right on the same wavelength.
Yes, a great lesson in transition there. Cruyff is looking for that pass. You can see Solskjaer takes it quickly, catches the defence napping, and he's just a bit unbalanced, Cruyff, as he rounds the goalkeeper, which leads him to fall away, Mike, and just lifts it over the goal, but that would have been really the cherry on top.
That's in the 2 substitutes there combining. As we come up towards the last minute, Jordi Cruyff now bursting forward. Dwight Yorke in the centre forward channel. Good save from Anderson, and another one. Well, he denied Dwight Yorke, and then he denied David Beckham.
This is brilliant, actually. They haven't stopped attacking. Look at Cruyff, he just missed one. He lays one on the plate for Yorke. Give the goalkeeper credit there, and he's going to remember his visit to Old Trafford. Not so much the goals that have gone by him, but he has tried his heart out, and he came up with 2 great saves there.
Comes the corner from Beckham, just a bit too high for Jaap Stam. We're inside the final minute. And everybody happy on the Manchester United bench. Alex Ferguson actually taking time out to sign autographs. Standing beside him there is assistant Brian Kidd, who of course played in that Manchester United winning side in 1968. Stay with us at the end of the game. We'll be back with our post-match wrap. And Manchester United will head to match day 5 with full of confidence, as Peter Schmeichel, well, determined on his 50th European appearance to ensure that he finishes with a clean sheet. And he was off his line very, very quickly then. Perhaps the first sign of lack of concentration in this whole game from Manchester United at the back.
Or ever the consummate pro, Schmeichel reading the situation right. He was very quick for the old fella to come off his line, and I think he just frightened Bo Hansen into giving that one up and making a simple save at the end.
Jordi Cruyff, this is great play from United. And Solskjaer could have made it 6 and should have made it 6.
Well, it had to go wrong sometime, didn't it? The quality of their finishing has been brilliant. In the last few minutes, their misses have been horrible. There's Solskjaer, who admittedly hasn't played much. He's been sitting there on the sidelines watching. And this is what you need, chances in the box. The finish, really, yes, you got to put that one in. You tried to hit it too hard, Mike.
It's over a minute now of a stoppage time. One would not expect that there would be too much to be added. Certainly the trainers have not been brought on tonight. And for a game that had so much at stake, it's been played in a very, very good spirit. And you've got to put a lot down to Brøndby for that. A lot of teams would have come here, try to close up shop and basically try to kick United off the pitch. And they haven't done that.
Exactly, exactly. They've come in with the right approach. The referee's helped. He's kept the game flowing. And Brøndby, even though they found themselves under pressure constantly, haven't resorted to the negative tactics that sometimes mar this game.
Well, for Manchester United, another night that will be written in the pages of history, along with some of their other glorious nights in the European Cup. 6-2 a fortnight ago in Copenhagen. And now 5-0 here as Peter Schmeichel just lines up the wall.
Well, here's a rematch of the situation in the first leg. Dogo beats Schmeichel on a free kick. He's got a chance to maybe line one up here.
Well, he scored once in the Champions League and once in qualifying for this competition. At this time, he's not going to score, as that one finishes up much too high. Went for a bit too much power that time.
Long way out. He's got to get the ball past the wall. Got to beat Schmeichel with some force. He just couldn't bring it down, and that really sums it up for Brøndby.
There is the final whistle, and Manchester United convincing winners, and certainly a confidence booster before they head off to Barcelona.